Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry I haven't posted in a long time. I'm never quite sure what to say, and it doesn't really feel worthwhile just to sit and ramble on about nothing, just so I can post regularly. Anyway, I guess I'd like to address this great debate that seems to keep happening. Much to my frustration, there seems to be a debate over whether chronic daydreaming is either good or bad. Well, um, any chronic daydreamer has probably at some point experienced the wondrous gifts and horrible struggles that go along with it. On one hand, it's an amazingly creative way to live that takes a lot of strength and intellectual ability. On the other hand, when it becomes maladaptive, there can be numerous downsides, like the lack of the ability to focus, trouble socializing. You might start to prefer your fantasy world to real life, and it can have an effect on your relationships. Also, trouble explaining, why you act so, different to other people. Of course, living openly will greatly help with that. But anyway, the term maladaptive daydreaming is not a derogatory term. If you look up maladaptive in the dictionary, according to Merriam-Webster, it's defined as 1, marked by poor or inadequate adaptation, or 2, not conducive to adaptation. So basically, it interferes with your ability to live in the outside world and take care of yourself, then it's maladaptive. And I don't care how wonderful and amazing something is, if it starts interfering with your ability to live, then that becomes a problem. So maladaptive daydreaming just means that daydreaming to the point where it's affecting your ability to live. And even though it is such a wonderful, beautiful thing to be able to live so creatively, when it comes maladaptive, then that just means it's becoming an issue for you. Okay, so it's not a derogatory term. I'm kind of frustrated because people keep leaving me comments saying that they have a problem with my quote-unquote characterizing MD as good when it's bad or as bad when it's good, and I'm not characterizing it as either. I refuse to. I cannot possibly see how it could be one or the other. Mind you, I've had a really severe form of this for all my life. For me, it was maladaptive and interfering with my life as long as I've had a life. I never learned to adapt to the real world. I grew up in my fantasy world. Having said that, I'm really sure it's made me smarter. Um, just the ability to have wondrous conversations in my head at any moment has been a tremendous gift to me. On the other hand, I'm 30 and I can barely function. I can't focus in school, and I can't handle being around people at all. No one can stand being around me, and I can stand being around nobody for more than a very short period of time. Um, Now, before you all start jumping on and saying how wonderful you find me, I appreciate that, but you're not around me. I really can't tolerate being around people. Anyway, I know how great it is, and I know just how bad the struggles can get because I'm 30 and I'm living alone, and I can barely have a conversation without wanting to strangle people. And I know how bad it can get, and I know how great it can be. So it's very yin and yang. It's not a disease. It's not a mental disorder. It might get called a disorder just so we can educate the psychological community about it. And when it becomes maladaptive, then it becomes sort of an issue. So it's kind of fair to say it when it's maladaptive. But it's not a sickness. Just because you daydream all the time and maybe you walk around your room and daydream. I mean, there are so many worse things you could be doing. It's not a horrible mental disorder. You're not diseased. We're not diseased. We're not bad. It's not purely a gift either. People have a right to come on to my site and say how much they're struggling. If on a given day there happens to be more people in favor of it than cursing it, or the other way around, then I absolutely do not apologize. I want people to come on and say how they feel. I want this to be a support system for them, regardless of their perspective. I want them to be themselves. This condition comes with wonderful gifts and horrible struggles. The way to respond is not to say that you disapprove. and others speaking who have a different point of view than you. It's not to silence them. Speak back. Don't tell them to be quiet and stop saying it's good or stop saying it's bad. Share your own point of view. There's room for everyone. My side is open to everyone, and I would really like people to, you know, I care how you feel, but I don't want you to come on and leave comments on my page saying, stop saying it's good or stop saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's either, I'm saying it's both, and I welcome everyone. So please, people on my side have been wonderfully supportive of each other, having said that, and I really appreciate that. I want you to keep supporting each other. You can really do a lot of good here by being yourself and having your voice heard. Okay, thank you.